Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about some of the new books I just bought. Oh my gosh, just thinking about it, I have bought too many books. I think there's over like 30 books in this haul, which is terrible because I have a couple more orders that I'm waiting on, but I just want to be able to put these books away on my shelves and not having them sitting around in piles in my room. So I will show you guys the other books that come in the mail sometime in December, probably towards the end of the month. So let's just go ahead and talk about the ones I have now. I'm not going to go too much into depth about what each one is about. I don't want this video to be an hour long, but the first one is one that was sent to me. The only one that, and that is Solving Cadence More by Gregory Sterner. I was contacted, I don't know if it was by the author or just like one of their publicity people, to review this book. I don't often accept books for review just because a lot of the times people just request me to review books that I have like completely no interest in, but this one, when I read the description, just sounded so interesting. Also, I feel really bad like to accept a book for review and then like give it a bad review, so I try to choose only books I think that I am going to really like. This one is a mystery thriller. We're following this singer. She disappeared 10 years ago and people don't know if she was murdered or if she was kidnapped. And in present day, we're following this guy. He is a conspiracy radio show host, and supposedly he has been for weeks looking into this, and he's saying or claiming that he knows what happened to her. He knows everything. He's going to reveal it in his podcast and through his live radio show, but people don't know is what he's saying actually true or not. And so I don't know, it just sounded really interesting, and that's definitely something that's really trending and popular right now. I feel like it is becoming more popular in mystery thrillers, is to have some sort of podcast element thrown in to the mix. So I'm excited to give this one a read. I'm pretty sure I'm going to read this one in December. So Book Depository sent me a 10% off coupon code, so of course I had to put in an order there. I have a couple of books I've gotten so far, because you know, Book Depository, they ship stuff like all separately, so I have about half of my order. So the first book I got is one I've already owned and read, but I really wanted this edition, and that is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I also ordered the Six of Crows edition, and it's on its way. This is just so beautiful of an edition of a book, and I wanted to get this edition because it's just, like I said, so beautiful, so gorgeous. These are the end papers. It has the black sprayed edges, gold foiling. It's like a beautiful naked hardback, which is just like my weakness. And I do plan on rereading this series again. First, I want to read the first books in the original Grisha trilogy, and then I want to reread this one as well, Six of Crows, and so then finally I can get to King of Scars. Okay, there's these special edition of classics that I've seen around for a little bit, but I have been holding myself back from buying them, but I decided to go ahead and buy a couple of them now. They're called the Wordsworth editions, and they are even more beautiful in person than when I see them on Instagram. So I ordered two. I ordered one of my favorite books of all time, Anne of Green Gables. Like, I needed another copy of this in this edition. This is the spine and the cover. It's so pretty. And I just love, there's like, I think I've seen, this one doesn't have any illustrations, but I think the other one I have does. Yeah, so I also got Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I actually have two editions of this book in this haul. You'll see the other one later. And Alice in Wonderland is a classic I don't own any copies of, so I'm glad to finally have it. So I need to actually read it. But this one does have illustrations that are included in this edition. And here's the front and the spine and the back. Oh, they're just so beautiful. And now I'm going to have to collect all of them because there's, I believe, around 8 or 10 in this series that they've released so far. Like, I needed another whole set of editions I needed to collect. I guess I now have another one. So the next few books, I went after work one day to Goodwill just to have a look around. Sometimes I'll find nothing there, or sometimes I'll find a whole bunch of stuff, and this time I found some good books there. A lot of these books I haven't even heard of. I just seen them when I was browsing and they seemed interesting, so I got them. Goodwill, their books there are super cheap, like $2, $3, like, so I don't feel bad at all when I buy books at Goodwill, and they go to charity, so another good cause. So the first one is Our Tragic Scarlet Our Tragic Universe by Scarlett Thompson. This one has the black sprayed edges. This one is a fantasy book. It has something to do with surrounding a fantasy book in the novel as well. And you know, I love books about books, so I had to pick this one up. Then we have Miss You by Kate Eberlin. I noticed this one from the spine. I thought was really nice, and this one is a contemporary novel. I think it's this author's debut, but it has a blurb on the back from Sophie Kinsella, who I haven't read any of her books in a long time, but I like her stuff. Then I got one called The 13th Tale by Diane Sutterfield. I bought this one because I've seen it around on BookTube everywhere, and it says a lot of people's favorite books. It makes their list of favorite books, and so I wanted to read it and see what it's all about. I don't really know much about it except that it has something to do with books. The cover on this one is what caught my eye. It's called China Dream by Maya Jian. And once again, I don't really know too much, but this is a really small book, so I feel like it's not as much of a risk buying it, not knowing what it's going to be about. And I think that one is actually a book in translation. And the last book I picked up from the Goodwill was The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Septies. I only realized after this one was actually the ARC edition, which I was like surprised since this book has just came out so recently to find a copy of it at Goodwill already, so it makes sense that someone left their ARC there. This one is a young adult historical fiction novel, and I wasn't like super into it when it had first came out. I haven't read anything by Ruta Septies, but I figured for such a cheap price to give it a try and see if maybe I like her books. All the rest of the books I'm going to be showing you guys are from Half Price Books, so I went there twice this month. Once earlier in the month, I was just in the area and I went in and I didn't really expect to buy anything. And of course, that is not what happened. So, and then I went again this morning because it's currently Black Friday, so they're having 20% off of everything. I didn't get up early enough to be able to go. I know the first 100 people they were giving out a gift bag to, and it had a $5 gift card, and there was like one person who gets like 100. But I just could not get up early enough, and it's kind of like a 40-minute drive from my house. So I'll show you first the ones that I got my first visit. So firstly, we have the other copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and this one also has the sequel, Through the Looking Glass. I was able to find the penguin cloth-bound version at Half Price Books, which is always great because you can get them for a great price. It is a little bit beat up, but at this point, like, I don't really care that much. I know that it would be nice to have all the cloth bounds in super pristine, nice editions, but they're expensive, so if I can save a little bit of money, I will take the fact that it's a little bit beat up. And then I found Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson, which is super new. This one came out, I believe, only within the last month, so I was really excited when I came across this book because it's one I've been wanting to buy, but I didn't really want to buy full price because it's such a tiny, small book that I just couldn't justify spending so much money on it, but I'm really excited to get to this one. Then I came across The Trap by Melanie Rabe. This one is a mystery or thriller book, I believe. Yeah, this one is a psychological thriller, so the next time I'm in the mood for one of those, I'll pick this one up. Next, I picked up, this was in the clearance section. Sometimes I can find really good books in the clearance section at Half Price Books, so I would always recommend like checking it out if you have one near you. And this was like $3, and this one's called Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moriarty. She's known for The Husband's Secret, Big Little Lies. I like her books, and I haven't read this one. I actually have 2 other books of hers that I haven't read, so I need to get to her books because I'm starting to get a little bit backed up on her books that I haven't read. She just does really good kind of like domestic mystery. I would say her books are more on mystery than in thrillers. Also in the clearance section, I was able to find a vintage edition of the book. What's this one? Absalom by William Faulkner. I haven't read anything by him. I figured for $3 I could go ahead and give him a try and see if I like this author or not. And I just love the vintage books. I mean, one day I would kind of like to have a whole shelf with the red spines, but we'll see. It's not going to be for a while. And I was super excited to find the specific edition of the Shadow and Bone trilogy of the 3 original books in the Grisha universe. So we have Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Rearwind and Rising. I wanted this edition and I was going to order it from Book Depository. I even had it in my like shopping cart and everything, but when I went to Half Price Books, I randomly seen this at the top of one of the shelves and I was like, yes, like it's cheaper, I got to save money. And I have been wanting to read this I've been wanting to read this series, but I wanted to have all 3 of the books first so I could possibly like just marathon them back to back and read them all. I know a lot of people say that they aren't the biggest fans of this series, but I feel like to continue on with King of Scars and to know more all the backstory of everything, I need to read this series. Okay, then lastly, we're on to the stuff finally that I bought today, this morning at Half Price Books. So the first one is A Vacuum in the Dark by Jen Began. I recognize the cover of this one. I don't really remember what this one was about. I think this is a contemporary fiction novel. Then we have The Old Drift by Namwali Serpell. This is another new release book, and I've heard good things about it. It's a multi-generational family story, but I think it's also like, people say it's a history, a fairy tale, romance, science fiction. There's just like a whole bunch of stuff going on in this book, so that makes me excited to see. Next we have another beautiful book here, and that is The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamwali. I have the audiobook of this and the e-arc, so I don't know why. Oh, I know why I bought the physical book, because I liked the cover on it, and I have high hopes that's going to be a good book that I do like. This one I think is kind of historical fiction. It takes place in Tehran in the 1950s. I know it involves some type of literary shop, and I think there's a war going on, and it sounded really interesting, so hopefully I will get to this one soon, but we'll see. Then I picked up one book that I've been wanting to own the physical copy of. I've already read it before, and that is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. I read this one either earlier this year or end of last year, I think it was, and I've seen they have the paperback version, and the sequel is coming out next year, so I'm probably going to have to either read a recap or reread this book. Most likely I'll read a recap so that I can go on to the next book in the series. I don't really remember exactly where this left off, so I'm definitely going to need to do something to refresh my brain before I go into the next one. Next we have The Toll by Neil Shusterman. This one just came out, and it's a new book. They have like a selection of some new books at Half Price Books, and I'm almost done with reading this book. I've been mostly listening to the audiobook for this all week, and I'm liking it so far. Yeah, I don't really have my thoughts together about this book yet, but this is the conclusion to the Ark of the Scythe trilogy, and I wanted to own the physical book so I can own all of them, and I'm probably going to physically read the last bit I have left. I think I have like 40 or so, 50 pages left to go. The next two are books I've already read, and one of them is Friday Black. This is a short story collection by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenya. Hope I said that right. This one I bought because I want to do a short story recommendations video, and this is one that I plan on including in there. And then I bought Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. I have been wanting this edition specifically because I like this edition best of this book, and I think I've seen it on Amazon, but I didn't really want to pay as much as it was on there, so I found it cheaper at Half Price Books, so of course I couldn't pass it up. I read this book a few years ago, but I don't really remember it too well now, but I remember I did like it, and it's something that I could see myself rereading again in the future. The next two books are both by the same author, and that is Melmoth and The Essex Serpent, both by Sarah Perry. I've heard a lot of good things about this series. Oh, I know some people like it, some people don't, but I believe both of them are like set in London or England or something, and I'm not sure if they're kind of like historical fiction, and sometimes I am in the mood for that, so when I next am in the mood for that, I can go ahead and pick these up. And then also in the clearance section, I found one of the limited edition Harper Perennial Classics and the Olive editions, and this one's called Lit by Mary Carr. It's a memoir. I haven't seen this one, so that's cool. I own right over here, I have a lot of the those editions over here, but I know there's still a few that I don't own. And so yeah, for $3 I couldn't pass this one up. And then I found The Crow Girl by Frank Axel Sund. This is a book that's been, I think, either on my Goodreads list or Amazon wish list for a while, and I came across this one super randomly today, and I was super excited to find it because I just love the cover on this. I think it's a murder mystery. Gee, I am getting super sick, so I'm glad that this video is almost done. And so this one, yeah, is a murder mystery set in Stockholm. I don't know too much about it. I don't want to read the plot because sometimes they give away too much in mysteries. Okay, so you guys can't see from this angle, but I have the Chiltern classics that I've been collecting, and I was able to find a few of them at Half Price Books. Actually, I didn't get these today. I got these last time I was there. and I went ahead and picked up Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So now I have all 8 of the ones that came out last year. Now I know there's 8 more that they came out with this year, and I'm going to be waiting to see if Half Price Books gets them because I'm not really trying to spend like 20 bucks on each book. I think I got all the other ones for 8 bucks, and then I got each of these for like 10 bucks, so it was a really good deal. And then finally, we've come to the last item in this haul. I read these books actually already, but I have lately been in the mood to reread them because it's been at least a few years since I read them. And I seen this edition specifically, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. And that's the Stieg Larsson, the Millennium Trilogy. This is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. So I'll show you what each of them look like individually. And I hadn't even seen or heard of these editions before, but as soon as I seen them, I knew I had to have them. So this is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. They're kind of like these cloth bound covers, and then on the back it has a print of dragons, and when you open it up it has the same print on the notes and a map as well. And here's the one that's The Girl Who Played with Fire. This one is red and it has little fire symbols on the front and back. It's cloth bound as well, and then on the inside it has the maps as well. And then here is The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. So this one has little hornets as the symbol on the design for this one. And it has the same thing on the inside. And then lastly, the 4th book, it's really small, it comes in this set, is called On Stieg Larsson, and it has these little like red crosses or something on it, look more like plus signs. And then it has what I'm assuming is a drawing of him on the end papers. This looks like a few different short essays, you could say, by different people who worked with him. I believe he's passed away now, but I know there's more books in the series, but I know it's not him who is continuing on with the series. So I kind of wanted to reread these 3 and then continue on with the new ones to see if there's something I'm interested in reading or not, or if I just want to keep with having read the 3 original books in the trilogy. So that's it for this book haul. I am going to have to somehow try and find space to put all these books onto my shelves. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I did take a big box of books over to Half Price Books when I went today, and that's kind of what helped me to pay for some of these books, plus I had like 20% off. But yeah, I need to figure out how I'm gonna get these onto the shelves. I don't really know. If you want to see the books that I just took all the same ones that I have in my unhaul video that I posted. I'll leave a link to it down below. Man, I am so drippy. It's so annoying right now. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to leave the link down below to my previous unhaul. I didn't add anything else to it. I do have another stack of books that I'm kind of working on building up for another unhaul video soon. Hopefully maybe in January I'll go ahead and do another one. That's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be able to keep up to date with what I feel about all these books once I finally get around to reading them. Let me know if you've read any of these too and which ones I should prioritize. Can't even speak today, okay, so that's it for this video then. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.